Modern life is slightly ridiculous. There was a time when doing something simple was actually simple. You needed to pay for parking, you paid for parking. You needed to log into something, you just logged in. But now, well, we've got an app for that. Welcome, come on in, get comfy and let's sit for a while. Because today we're going to talk about something that I think most of us experience on a daily basis. And it's this quiet question. Why does everything suddenly need an app? Because at first it seems helpful. Download the app for a better experience. That sounds reasonable. Who doesn't want a better experience? So you download it, create an account, choose a password, confirm the password, add a capital letter, add a number, add a symbol. Make sure it's not like your last 5 passwords. And suddenly you're not even sure what you were trying to do anymore. And let's just pause here for a moment and talk about passwords. Because at this point, we don't have a password, we have a system. Or at least we're supposed to. But in reality, we have one we think we used, one we might have used, and one we definitely used somewhere, just not here. So you try one. Incorrect password. Try another. Incorrect password. Try a third. Too many attempts, please reset your password. Of course, so you reset it. New password. Confirm new password. Cannot use a previously used password. You didn't even know what your previous one was, but apparently the system does. So now you create a completely new one that you will absolutely not remember in 5 minutes. And just when you think you're finally in, you're not. Because now they need to send you a code to your phone, which of course you don't have right next to you. Or it arrives late. Or you type it in wrong. Or it expires just as you're entering it. So now you need a new code. And suddenly logging in has become an event. And somewhere in all of this there was something you were actually trying to do. Pay for something, book something, check something. But now you've spent 10 minutes just trying to exist in the system. And this is where you start to realise it's not just one thing. It's everything. Everything needs an app. Everything needs a login. Everything needs verification. Even things that used to take about 30 seconds. And just when you finally feel you've figured something out, it changes. Not gradually, not helpfully, just suddenly. You open an app you use all the time, something simple, something familiar, and immediately something feels off. Everything looks different. Buttons have moved, menus have disappeared. Things that used to be obvious are now hidden somewhere you have to discover again. And you think, why? It worked perfectly well before. No one asked for this. There was no meeting where everyone said, yes, what this really needs is to be harder to use. And yet here we are, because apparently this is an improvement. A better user experience, which usually means you now have to relearn something you already knew. And not because it was broken, but because it's been updated. So now you're tapping around looking for the thing you used to find instantly. Checking menus, swiping in directions that feel hopeful. And eventually you find it, but not where it was, and not where it makes sense. Just somewhere new. And while all this is happening, you're also being notified. Constantly. Don't forget to check this. Here's something you didn't ask for. Would you like to enable notifications for absolutely everything? No, you would not. And yet somehow they keep appearing anyway. Then there are permissions. Allow access to your location. allow access to your contacts, allow access to your camera for something that you only wanted to use for about 30 seconds. And you pause just long enough to think, why does this need to know where I am? And this is where something starts to become clear. It's not just that things are digital now. It's that nothing feels finished. Everything is updating, refreshing, syncing, verifying, constantly changing whether you want it to or not. And the strange part is, none of this feels like progress in the moment. Because what used to take seconds now takes steps. Not meaningful steps, just more steps. And of course, you adapt. You learn where things have moved. You remember new layouts. You accept that things won't stay the same. But every now and then, you still open something and think, this was easier before. And then there's the moment when something actually goes wrong. Not a big thing, just something simple. You need help. So naturally, you go to customer support. And immediately you're greeted by a message. Hi, I'm here to help. Are you? Because what follows suggests otherwise. You're given options. Lots of options. None of which quite match what you actually need. Press 1 for billing. Press 2 for technical support. Press 3 for something vaguely related. And you sit there thinking, I just need to explain the problem. But that doesn't seem to be an option. So you start typing, trying to explain your issue. Clearly, simply. And the response comes back, I'm not sure I understand that. Oh, of course you didn't, because you're not a person. So you try again. Different wording. Shorter, more specific. And the response? Here's an article that might help. It doesn't. You've already read it. That's why you're here. And this is where it becomes a loop. You explain, it misunderstands. You rephrase, it suggests something irrelevant. And all the while you're getting slightly more frustrated. But also slightly amused, because it's so absurd. And eventually you discover the only thing that works. Typing, speak to a human, over and over again, until finally something shifts, connecting you to an agent. Relief. And then you wait. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, long enough to question whether you needed help that much after all. And somewhere in all of this, a thought appears that something very simple has become very complicated. Not because it had to, but because that's just how things are now. And yet we still do it. We download the apps, we reset the passwords, we wait for the codes, we navigate the updates, we talk to the bots. Because what's the alternative? And maybe this is just one of those quiet, modern things that we all experience, but don't always stop to notice. Not serious, not life-changing, just slightly ridiculous. And strangely, something we all understand. I'd love to ask, what's the most unnecessary, complicated thing you've had to do recently? Thank you for sharing your time with me today. Take gentle care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.